Today, we are breaking down a brand new Google patent that could completely rewire the connection between your business and your customers. So let's get right into what this could mean for you.
I want you to imagine this for a second. A customer searches for your product, they're ready to buy, but instead of landing on your amazing, carefully crafted website, Google just intercepts them. This isn't science fiction. It's the whole idea behind a newly granted patent, and frankly, it's a direct challenge to the click-through model we've all built our businesses on. And look, this isn't happening in some far-off future. We're already seeing the writing on the wall with Google's AI push. A huge study found that when Google's AI overviews pop up in search, organic click-through rates just plummet by a staggering 61%. So the ground is already shifting under our feet, and this patent, well, it's basically the blueprint for the earthquake. So here's what we're going to cover. We're going to walk through Google's plan, what it is, then we'll look at the landing page score, which is how they decide who gets replaced. We'll connect the dots to their bigger strategy, figure out who is most vulnerable, and most importantly, we'll talk about your new playbook, what you can actually do about it.
All right, first up, let's get into the patent itself and what it really lets Google do.
So, here's the deal. The patent is US 125.36233B1. The system it lays out sounds pretty simple on the surface. It looks at your website's landing page, and if it decides your page just isn't up to snuff, it generates its own AI version to show the user instead. Yep, it literally puts a Google-controlled page between you and your potential customer.
So the big question is, how does Google decide if your page gets the boot? Well, it all boils down to this new thing they're calling the landing page score. You can think of this score as an automated quality check. If your page drops below some threshold that Google sets, that's the trigger. The system kicks in and poof, an AI replacement page is served up instead. It's a pass-fail test. And yeah, Google is the one holding the gradebook.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The signals Google is looking at here go way beyond traditional SEO. We're talking hard business metrics, your actual conversion rate, your bounce rate. But what's kind of shocking is that the patent also calls out a surprisingly low bar. A page can be flagged for replacement for something as simple as a lack of product filters. That screams e-commerce, but you can totally see the B2B version of that, right? Like a clunky demo form or really confusing pricing.
You have to understand, this patent is not a random experiment. It is a critical piece in Google's long-term play to own the entire customer journey, from the first search all the way to the final sale.
I mean, think about it. Google already owns the search, that moment of intent. So what's the next logical step? Owning the transaction itself. This patent gives them the legal and the technical muscle to make sure that the entire buying experience happens on their turf inside their ecosystem.
And when you look at this timeline, you can see just how fast and focused they've been. From filing the patent, to putting ads in AI overviews, to launching direct checkout with huge retailers. Every single move builds on the one before it. This patent, it's the final piece of the puzzle. It gives Google the power to step in whenever a website isn't perfectly optimized for its brand new, all-in-one commerce machine. Okay, so who really needs to be paying attention here? Let's break down which businesses are the most exposed to this kind of shift.
The logic in the patent, especially that little detail about product filters, puts a giant bullseye right on traditional e-commerce retailers. Small and medium-sized businesses, the ones that might not have the massive resources for constant, high-end UX optimization, they're the most at risk of having their sites labeled underperforming by Google's algorithm.
And the danger here isn't just about losing traffic, it's about losing your identity. Neil K. Shah, the CEO of Karyaya, put it perfectly. He warns that startups and unique brands could find their voices flattened into Google's homogenized AI output. It's about replacing your authentic story with a generic, cookie-cutter storefront.
This slide just captures the trade-off perfectly, doesn't it? On the left, you've got everything that makes your brand your brand. The unique voice, the customer stories, the trust you've built over years. And on the right, you have Google's AI version, which is built for just one thing, making the sale as efficiently as possible. It strips out all the nuance, all the personality for a generic, conversion-focused experience.
Okay, I know this all sounds pretty intense, but the goal here is not to panic, it is to prepare. So let's shift gears and talk about your new strategic playbook and how you can start adapting to this new world.
All right, the game is changing, so our strategy has to change too. Number one, your product data feed is no longer just for ads. It's now the raw material for Google's AI. Treat it like gold. Number two, we need to start thinking about GEO, that's Generative Engine Optimization. It's not just about getting a link clicked anymore. It's about optimizing for how an AI uses your info to build an answer. And third, your website needs to become a fortress for everything an AI can't just copy. real community, exclusive content, loyalty.
And here are 5 things you can literally start doing right now. First, audit your landing pages using the same metrics Google is: conversion rate, user experience. Second, beef up all your structured data. Make it super easy for AI to read. Third, focus on getting first-party data, emails, app downloads. Build that direct line to your customer. Fourth, you absolutely have to diversify your traffic channels. And finally, keep a close eye on the regulatory side of things, because a move this big is definitely going to get some attention.
Ultimately, this patent forces all of us to ask a really fundamental question. For decades, we've kind of seen Google as the curator of the open web, the librarian, organizing all the information. But as it starts to not just organize, but to intercept and even replace the creators of that information, is it becoming something else entirely? Is it a curator or is it a conqueror? That's the big question we're all going to have to figure out as we navigate this new terrain.